All right, today we're jumping into a massive story that's unfolding right now in global finance, what some are calling the sunset of the dollar hegemony.
So have you noticed something kind of weird going on in the markets lately? Because on one hand, you've got stocks, a sign of pure optimism, hitting all-time highs. But then on the other hand, you have gold. You know, the classic go-to asset for when you're scared, also hitting all-time highs. So what gives? How can the world be incredibly optimistic and incredibly fearful at the exact same time? It's this strange dissonance, a puzzle that just doesn't seem to add up.
Well, it turns out this puzzle isn't just some random market quirk. It's actually a huge clue that something much, much deeper is going on behind the scenes. And the source material we're looking at today puts it in a really great way. Some countries are, quote, quietly deleting their couple photos with the US dollar. It's not some loud, dramatic breakup, but a slow, very deliberate, very quiet distancing.
So to really get why this breakup might be happening, we first have to understand the relationship itself. So let's start by taking a look back at the dollar's incredible 80-year reign at the top.
First things first, what does it even mean to be the world reserve currency? It's actually a simple idea, but an incredibly powerful one. It's basically the main currency that central banks all over the world keep in their savings accounts. It's what they use to trade with each other for huge things like oil. You could say it's the very bedrock of the entire global financial system. And the US dollar has had this job for 80 years. 80! Ever since the end of World War II. For literally generations of bankers, politicians, and economists, the dollar wasn't just a currency, it was the currency. It was the default setting for how the world did business, stable, reliable, and it seemed totally unshakable.
But after 8 decades, that feeling of stability is starting to wear thin. And this whole shift isn't really about spreadsheets and economic models. It's being driven by a powerful emotion.
Our source calls it institutional anxiety. Now, this isn't you or me worrying about our bills. No. This is a deep, collective uncertainty felt inside the world's central banks. We're talking the biggest financial players on the entire planet. They're looking out at the future, and they're feeling profoundly uneasy.
So what exactly does that anxiety look like? Well, it boils down to a few key things. These central banks are desperately seeking long-term stability. They're trying to protect themselves, to hedge against all the uncertainty in the world. And maybe most importantly, they're actively trying to diversify their wealth, to, stop keeping all of their nation's eggs in that one single dollar-denominated basket.
Now, anxiety is a feeling, sure, but it almost always leads to action. And it's in that action where this quiet, behind-the-scenes story suddenly gets very, very loud. Welcome to the Great Rush for Gold.
Because you see, when the world's most powerful financial institutions get nervous, they don't just write worried memos about it. They make moves. They take real, tangible action. And the action they're taking right now is sending a massive, undeniable signal to the rest of us. And here it is. This chart, this is the smoking gun. For years, you can see central bank gold buying was pretty steady, pretty predictable. Then, in 2022, it just exploded to levels we haven't seen in over 50 years. In 2023, kept up that record-breaking pace. This is what institutional anxiety looks like on a graph. And this, right here, solves our puzzle from the beginning. Fear is at an all-time high because the biggest players in the game are buying gold like never before. So, in this modern age of crypto and complicated digital finance, what are they all turning to? They're going back to the most ancient, most primal store of value that humanity has ever known. As the source colorfully puts it, they're buying shiny rocks. It's this fundamental move back to something tangible, something physical, something you can hold that has value outside of any single government or system. Okay, so where is all of this heading? To answer that, we have to zoom out from today's charts and look at the bigger historical picture, what you could call the life cycle of power. History shows us that we've seen this movie before. It's a recurring pattern. Think of it like a fall of empire's life cycle. A dominant economy rises, and its currency becomes the world standard. But then, eventually trust starts to waver, new powers emerge, and a slow decline begins as a new system starts to form. From the Roman denarius to the British pound, this is a well-worn path. And that brings us to the most crucial point of all. This move away from the dollar isn't some sudden event that's going to happen overnight. It's a process, a slow, quiet, historical shift. Those couple photos with the dollar, they aren't being ripped up in a fit of anger. They're just being quietly taken down and put in a box, one by one.
And that brings us to the final, fascinating question that this whole situation forces us to ask. History tells us that every sunset is followed by a sunrise. So as the sun slowly sets on this 80-year era of dollar hegemony, we're all left to wonder, if this is the twilight, what new dawn is waiting to rise?